Welcome back, football fans. Are you ready to have the odds in your favour this weekend? Do you want probability to be on your side? Well, you've come to the right place. In this video, we're going to do a few things. We're going to have two EFL trebles. The international break might be on, but there is still plenty of value to be found, as you will see later in this video. This is where we're starting. It is the value bets section. This is my personal feed based on my settings that I put together in the previous video. Profitable settings, as we saw in the previous video. Feel free to check that out. It is a long-term video. You're not going to miss anything in terms of predictions in that video. There are no predictions. It is just a guide to value betting in 2024, how you can set up all your filters, how you can check for profitability, and then when you're ready, how you can dig deeper into it as well. So I've got 3 home victories that I will show you here, all over evens at the time of recording. And then we will also jump to the trends pages to see if there are any golden nuggets this weekend. So we've got games for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in this video. If you are new here, drop a comment, hit like, subscribe so you don't miss any of the future episodes. And thanks for all the support on the video and the channel so far. We passed 15,000 subscribers recently. It would be great to get to 20,000. That is the next milestone. So without further ado, let's get into the video and let's roll the intro because it's been missing for a few videos and plenty of comments want it back. So here it is.
Football drives our hearts. Data plays its part. Value bets we seek with Joe from modalerts.com.
So we start with the value bets section, and as I mentioned briefly, just if you want to check out the previous video, you can see exactly how this page works, how you can check for profit, and the settings that I put together on the previous video. 129 units of profit in the last 120 days. And we also tweaked it a little bit, and these are the results. This is the feed as I open my Value Bets app. So the first game we're going to cover is the game at the top because the Guatemalan Liga Nacional, Sunday at 1 a.m. UK time, this one. Now you might think, I'm not betting on that league. It's one of the most profitable leagues in the world for home victories and double chance as well. We're talking thousands of pounds across the last year and 5 years, even more. It is a crazy league. It would be more if you could get on some of the games. Some of the games are just not offered. They're a bit selective. But as you can see here, home win 68.16, implied odds of 1.47. With our probability model, that's the odds that we are giving. Yet you can get odds over evens for this game. That is value of just under 40%. So that is the first game of our home wins trio. Second game comes from Colombia, and other than, consistently finding great games through value betting, you also get to try and pronounce teams like this. Jaguares de Cordoba did all right there against Beyonce Chico. Just going to throw that one in there. 63%, slightly lower probability and slightly higher implied odds, 1.57, but still higher odds than the previous game, 2.15 this one, 36.94% of value, and the league predictability for this one is rated as good. Now I will just explain what that is because I'm an idiot and I forgot to do it in the ultimate guide to value betting in 2024. The league predictability can fluctuate. It is a rating for that league based on the model's hit rate, the model's success across the last 100 games or so. So it can go in and out of good, great, average, The third game we're going to cover comes from Spain, the Segunda Division RFEF Group 7. That's a nice, easy league name title. Teruel against Izara, and 61%, so again, slightly lower. We are sorting the feed by probability, which is the default. If you want to sort by time, you can. Odds recently updated, you can. This one is on Sunday at 6 p.m. Implied odds of 1.63, and again, 2.15 in terms of the odds being offered right now. And as always, with value betting, it is best to get on the games as soon as possible. If you've got your settings in place, and whenever a game comes through, what you can do is toggle this and get the automated alerts straight to Telegram. So you will never miss a game, and you actually never have to come back to this page if you don't want to. But of course you want to, because it's a great page. So if you want more games like this on a consistent basis without waiting for me to make a video, head to this page, set up your settings, check the profitability, and if you want a guide to this page, as I said before, check out the previous video, which is linked in the description. So let's move now from value bets to trends for this weekend, shall we? And we will start with a couple of games taking place today. So we will start with home wins, and you can see I've already got an alert set for this game, and this is the one we are going to be taking a look at. Schweinfurt. They have won 6 out of 6, looking to make it 7 out of 7, and the odds at the moment are 1.4, so that's why I've set an alert. Let me know if it's 1.8 or something, but you could quite easily, if you wanted to, create a double with this game potentially. They've won every single game at home, 6 out of 6, whereas Victoria Aschaffenburg they've not won away from home yet. They've lost 67% of games. Small-ish sample size, of course, 6 games away from home and 6 games at home. But where it does look quite nice is when you start to look at the goals. In terms of scoring, 0.67 per game for Aschaffenburg, and in terms of goals scored for the home team, 2.67 per game, and their defence is pretty good as well, 0.83 goals. And of course, they've won every game, that's all you need to say. So from Germany, and from the left side of the page to the right side of the page, where it shows you the worst away teams, and we'll take a look at the top team because I think it's a pretty good option as well. So Polonia Slubice, they 1.55 to continue this terrible run. They have lost every game away from home so far this season. This one is Saturday, 2 p.m. And you can see that the home team, Stilton, yeah, the away team sounds like a sort of brand of ham, and I guess, you know, Stilton, put them together, you got a nice tasty sandwich. Yeah, you just need some bread, don't you? Grosgow, that doesn't sound like a bread. Anyway, plenty of goals in games for these two teams, 3.67 per game. Both teams are conceding a lot of goals, to be fair, so you'd have to dig into this one a little bit deeper. That is why the odds are 1.55. In terms of goals scored, they have scored more goals, but they've played a game less. You would have to dig into this one, just take a look at the results and see who they're losing against. But Polonia, 6 games away from home, 6 defeats so far, and conceding 2.67 goals per game. Maybe over 2.5 goals is also a decent opportunity in this one. Let us know what you think in the comments, and if you want to check out any of these games and you want to check out all of these markets, just head to oddalerts.com/trends, and as always, this will be linked in the description. Next, we head to goals, and I wanted to show you this list because there are 45 teams heading into the weekend. 45 teams. Forget that it's the international break. The trends pages allow you to find great teams, top performing teams, wherever they might be, whenever they might be playing, regardless of international break or not. And we see Schweinfurt again here. 45 teams have a 100% record. So we're going to go next to create an over 1.5 treble for the EFL. That's what we're going to do. We're going to create 2 of them actually, and I've already put them together and I'm quite happy with them. But you could just as easily look at this page and create an over 1.5 goals treble as well. And of course, with the territory, over 1.5 goals, and also with the territory, 100% records, the odds are quite low or not there at all. So what we can do, let's say we've got this game here, I think it's from Norway. Let's have a look at this one. Yeah, Norway second division. This one's taking place on Friday as well. We can see that they've scored in the majority of games, over 1.5 goals in 82% of games for the home team, 100% for the away team. So what we can do is set an alert on this. It's 1.22. Let me know if it hits 1.5. And now that 1.5 is saved in the local memory here, whenever we go to a game, we can just say 1.5, 1.5. And, you know, you can check out the games. We'll go to the German game again, 1.5, let me know. And you would be surprised as well, the games that don't have odds here, you would be surprised how many of them actually hit in terms of odds hit 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, and then go on to have 2, 3, 4 goals in the games. Season ticket holders can back me up here because I actually launched an automated tool called the Funnel, which basically did just that. It scanned all games where the probability for over 1.5 goals was high and the odds were not there, and it just tracked them and sent you alerts. I might bring it back in some way because it was pretty powerful. So from over 1.5 goals to BTTS, because we have a couple of games here that are both taking place on Friday. So we're going to take a look at the next 24 hours. And the first game is the game at the top of the pile. And again, we're going to set an alert for 1.5, and then after maybe 10-12 minutes this will hopefully hit and we will get an alert and we can get on this game. It is 11:30 UK time on Friday night, so 13 out of 14 games for this away team have ended with BTTS landing, and they are playing a home team that, quite interesting really, they've got a negative goal difference, both of these teams, yet they have scored in the majority of games. So scoring is not the issue, but clearly conceding is. Deportives Santa Cruz have scored in 93% of away games and conceded, of course, in every single away game. And if you see here, the goals that they are scoring, not many, but they do score. 1.21 for the home team, so you could expect maybe a tight game, 1-1, 1-2, either way, to be honest. Check this one out. I'll be getting an alert for this, hopefully after about 10-15 minutes. And then the second game on Friday for BTTS, let's take a look. For this one, we do have odds available, and it comes from Germany. 6 out of 7 home games so far for the home team, VfB Lübeck against Kickers Emden. And we can see there both of these teams have scored in every single game played so far. BTTS 86% for the home team, 80% for the away team. They've both scored in every game, home versus away, and in terms of conceding, 86% and 80%. This one is interesting to me, and I think this one is probably better as a sort of potential double that you put together through the trends pages. You can see we've got a game. Liverpool here. Liverpool are playing. Is it not the international break? Well, let's take a look at it, because it's probably the Uruguayan Liverpool. It is. Liverpool versus Phoenix. And this one, we've got a bit better sample size, 15 games played here, BTTS in 73%, but Phoenix, as you can see there, 38%. So I'm not too keen on that. They don't score many goals at all, 46% in terms of scoring away from home. But just to counter, just to play devil's advocate, Liverpool have conceded in 93% of games. So you could potentially combine Lübeck and Liverpool for a nice double on Friday night. Let me know what you think about that one in the comments. So that is our trends section. Next, we're going to take a look at the EFL games being played this weekend. And just finally on trends, did you know that there is a trends bot that you can request? You can say, send me home wins right now, and it will send you them to your phone instantly. And you don't have to come to this page. But again, still come to the page if you want. Welcome to the EFL section of the prediction show. And you can see here, Saturday, 12th of October. We've got 2 games in League One, just the 2, but League 2 is where it is happening this weekend. And of course, you've got the FA Cup, and you've got some National League as well. You've got some WSL games, Arsenal women against Chelsea women. But for the purpose of this video, we're going to be focusing on League 1 and League 2 and putting together 2 trebles. And we're getting to a good stage of the season, aren't we? Most teams have played 10 games, as you can see here. Some that have had cup runs, you know, Wimbledon with their pitch as well, they've had a few games delayed. But the majority of teams have played 10 games, so a decent sample size now makes it easy to read the data as well on the stats scroller. So if you're thinking about BTTS, if you're thinking about goals this weekend, let's start with 3 teams out of League 1 and League 2. The only 3 teams playing this weekend that have conceded in every single game. They are Morecambe, Peterborough, and Accrington Stanley. Now, we might come across these teams again in a few moments. Now, an interesting stat or lack of stat that I found when looking at the data is actually there isn't a team here that scored in every single game this season. You can see on the stats scroller, there's quite a few teams that have scored in 80% of games this season, but none of these teams playing have scored in every game so far. Bradford is an interesting game as well, because 80% of all Bradford's games, we can take a look at the data here, have ended with BTTS landing. 80% of all games, so 8 out of 10 so far this season. And it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because you look at Tranmere Rovers, We've got some very interesting data for this as well in a moment. But first, let's look at that BTTS record. 8 out of 10, 2 0-0s. And if we count the 0-0s here, 2 there, 1, 2, 3, 5 0-0s across the season so far for both of these teams. What do you think about that? It makes me potentially a bit nervous. If we look at the home form for Tranmere, they are unbeaten so far this season, despite being 17th, by the way. Their away form's not that bad, but they're just drawing too many games. And for Bradford away from home, it's not good, is it? It's not good. Certainly compared to their home form. Away form, they've lost 3 out of 5. No wins since the opening day of the season there, 10th of August. And as you can see, BTTS in every single away game played. Whilst we're on the BTTS theme as well, another game here, Gillingham second in the league against Accrington Stanley. Who are they? Exactly. They have seen BTTS land in 7 of their 9 games, and they have turned a corner, could you say? I mean, they beat Morecambe, who are 23rd, after an awful start to the season. BTTS in 7 of their 9 games away from home. They've lost every single game, but they've scored in 3 out of 4. Only failed to score at Notts County. Now, Gillingham are second, and Gillingham are doing all right, but in recent weeks, as you can see there, no goals scored and 2 defeats out of 2. It's a tough one to call, this one. Let's continue to look at some of these games. Let's just enable the probability model, shall we? And we can then see for BTTS, the highest rated game from the model is Harrogate Town, Newport County. Interesting stuff. 62%, 1.61 implied odds. It is the highest rated game out of League 1 or League 2. I'm going to keep the probability model up for a moment because it is what we're going to focus on here. We're going to put together a over 1.5 goals treble using the model, and then one using the data that I've sort of collated by looking at the fixtures and stuff. So let's do that. Let's first look at the model and see which game has the highest rating. So the top games for over 1.5 goals are Harrogate Town, Newport County, Doncaster versus Crewe, and Crawley against Shrewsbury. So that will make up our first treble. We will go and put it together in a moment. Don't worry about that. Feel free to pause, screenshot, take a look at these probability models so you can see the highest rated teams for home wins. You can see Gillingham there, 1.82 implied odds, 1.74 for Barrow, who are third against Morecambe, who are 24th as well. Rivalry there. Rivalry between Cheltenham and Swindon as well, who are both struggling, but Cheltenham can score goals, of course. Chesterfield at home against Notts County. Let's take a look at that one because this could be a fantastic game. Now, it is the early game, which is why I've not included it on the treble that we're going to put together. But what's interesting here is that Chesterfield are unbeaten at home and Notts County are unbeaten away from home. What's also interesting is that these two teams, out of all the teams that are playing in League 2 this weekend, these two are the top scorers. Now, will we get a game where they both go for it, or will we get a bit of a tight affair? They're both conceding on average around 1 goal per game. 10 goals conceded so far for Chesterfield and 9 for Notts County. Interesting though, when you take a look at the results, as I mentioned and as we saw there, just 2 defeats for Chesterfield, none at home, with BTTS landing in every single home game so far. And away from home, they are in good form as well, unbeaten Notts County away from home. And in terms of scoring goals, they've been a bit hot and cold, to be honest. They opened the season with a 0-0 and they've fired blanks in 3 games so far this season. I wanted to feature this game. I wanted to show you the game because I think it's a good game, probably one of the best games of the weekend. But I'm not sure we're going to include it on the treble just because it's tough to call. These are 2 good teams, to be honest, especially Chesterfield when they play at home. Last year they scored for fun as well. So yeah, let me know what you think about that one in the comments. What is interesting is the potential for BTTS, but just look at the draws, look at the 1-1 results as well. Now, if corners is your thing, then the teams I would suggest, Notts County, Harrogate Town and Walsall. All these teams that are playing this weekend have seen 8 or more corners in 90% of their games. Next up, Tranmere against Bradford, and I mentioned before we've got some interesting data on this one. The quickest goal time for all of these teams playing in League 2 is Bradford, with an average first goal time of 15 minutes. Second in that table is Tranmere with 90 minutes. So what are the chances we see a first half goal in this one? So that's the data. Feel free to check out the website oddalerts.com. You can get all this data. You can look at all the stats and stuff within the fixture absolutely for free. Referee stats, card stats, timing stats, you name it, it's there. And right now we will jump to Bet365 and put together the slips. So this is the first, and this is one that we've done with our brains using the stats and whatnot. Tranmere Bradford, we saw the data there. Hopefully there's an early goal which helps us on our way. Peterborough conceded in every single game so far this season. And Cheltenham Swindon, 2 teams struggling. It is a rivalry, so bear that in mind. But plenty of goals expected in that one as well. 2.09. Let me know what you think about that one in the comments. And remember, comment, like, share, subscribe, whatever, to help boost this video and get it seen by more people. Now let's do one based on the probability model. Another treble, also over 1.5 goals. Let's see which one performs better. So this is the second one based on the probability model, and yeah, 2.08, so slightly lower, ever so slightly. Crewe Shrewsbury, which is the highest of the 3, highest of the trio. Doncaster Crewe and Harrogate Newport. So a couple of games from League 2, and then Crawley Shrewsbury is from League 1. Let me know what you think about this one in the comments. And this is X. Feel free to follow us on here because very soon corners are going to be added to the bet slip generator. Corner markets will be added, and again powered by the probability model. So if you want to be the first to access that, you can be an API user or on the season ticket, you'll get first access, of course. But if you want to also have a chance to get first access just follow along on X, and I'll be running a competition across the weekend. So as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.